And the last chapter of this beautiful 2-day story is ahead. We're about to find out who is your champion. Again, spam those emotes in chat with your country's flag. And if you don't have the flag, it doesn't really matter. Just spam what country you support right now because we're about to find out who the champions of the Auzom Nations Cup, supported by ViewSonic, are going to be. Toffees, I couldn't be more hyped up for this last game.
I'm super hyped. You said the last chapter. I couldn't say it better. This is coming together like a piece of art or a book. And what better team to be in the front when you talk about a piece of art as Austria, a country that knows art well, but also apparently knows PUBG. That last game, they went into the last game in first, but only by 1 point. They needed a good game. They came away with it. They got third, sure, but they got there with more kills than first and second combined, and that keeps them at the lead here. So Austria going to be playing their game, and if they keep playing it, those guys probably going to take this one home. So I'm excited to see if that happens. But either way, we should see a lot of action. Teams in the middle going to be looking for kills to try to get their way to the top. Teams at the top going to be hunkering down and holding on tight because they got to make it. And you know what's not wonderful? This is a little bit of a tough airplane for these teams. It's not centralized, just means the northern half of the island is going to go largely unlooted, which may see some early fights here. Some things that some of these top teams do not want to deal with.
Yes, indeed. And actually, look at the south side. Their military base is not going to be actually quite covered by many teams. It's just one of them, Denmark, heading straight towards that one. Oh, it looks to be Iceland as well, heading towards that kind of direction there. Richard Bell is going to be bailing out quite soon. It seems Huckstar might be joining ranks with him as well. But Larson and Energetic are are poised to go to the military base, and they're going to find themselves some really, really nice loot. But they're doing a double split. Rest of their teammates are heading into school or at the motor pool, as you want to call it. And they're going to be going for those cars there. In the meantime, though, the Frenchies and the Italians back at it again. The way we started is going to be the way we end it. Isn't that a beautiful circle of life? Well, it's soon to be
Absolutely.
a circle of death as these two teams settle into Milta.
France and Italy, two teams that have been fighting militarily, economically, and PUBG wise since the beginning. Both of this tournament and time are going to look at each other across the map. Prolosco almost had some vision on Monkey there for just a second. You might be able to pick him off. This is a great spot to start with an M16 up here on the high ground. You can call everything out for your team. All they have to do is pick up some attachments for you, and you can sort of get your loot started a little bit later. So Prolosco does that. He holds down, tries to identify the locations of his opponents. Damien by himself, very happily looting on the south of Milta. That said, Hollow and Shadow 1K going to have to get across the street. They don't want to push into their opponents here, so they are going to make their move, and I don't think anyone's going to see it.
Yeah, they might have a safe cross, but I'm not too sure if Monkey is actually grabbable at this point in time. They know exactly where he is, so Team Italy are going to be holding out to that angle against him, whilst Monkey's teammates try to find themselves some handy loot, perhaps a bit of armor as well, to try and get him out of this situation. He is safe. He's okay. He's got a shotgun to work with here. He's going to be looting the glass house in hope for to get something a bit better here, but.
Oh,
Somewhere else, though, it's going to be power that powers onto Hollow with that M16, and it's not Hollow points. Instead, it's going to be 5.56s that dink him down. And, well, that's a bit of a misfortunate time because France losing a member early on, that's going to make things a bit harder for them.
it is. He stopped to heal before he crossed the street, but that was his undoing. It allowed time for a red dot to go onto that M16 and make for an easy pop-off kill. No armor, no helmet. You got to remember, all it takes is a couple of shots from the M16 to finish the job, as we saw. So executed very well by Italy as they are starting to lock down the lion's share of Milta. Monkey going to get forced off into a small house looting section. As he even takes fire trying to do that, he's getting across the road, but Prolosco still up on that house we talked about earlier with the iron sight. Hit him twice. He gets hit from the opposite side, though, so he can go prone, but he can hide up here pretty effectively.
Yes, indeed. It does look like the reply from the French guy is coming in, and it's quite a solid one. Prolosco forced into heal as the Frenchies move in on the south ridge of Milta, and they can go and help out Monkey in this situation here. Monkey, having crossed the street, is at least in a kind of a safe position to come out. And considering that they also have the circle to their advantage, they may not be at the center of it, but they're inside nonetheless. They could come out nicely here if they choose to just follow the southern ridge outside of Milta, because this fight should be over. Now, we do see a bit of a split coming in. Spike, Mazzarini, Occo. I'm not too sure where their fourth is here, but they're having a bit of a split loot in the farm area there. And, well, they're going to have an okay time doing that. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of population in that area there. Some of the teams, though, did drop kind of ish close. I'm not too sure where their fourth is here.
Well, and this is what we talked about. I think James may have just killed their fourth. because James is standing on top of a body.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
now. So basically, they did the farm split that we talked about in the last game. And one of the things I said is farm split, and you pointed this out too, it's just too dangerous right now because of the nature of the game. And they lost someone in the farm split looting phase. James, the kind of person who loves to try to find one player and force a 1v1 and usually comes out on top. So he executed that perfectly. Mazzarini going to go ahead and find a holdable position. The spot that he's got is a great centralized spot. His team will eventually make their way there. It's incredibly holdable. The question is, was it worth losing your person, and can you get there through all of these other teams?
Exactly. It looks like for the moment they have a safe kind of path as they would decide to go in there. Whether or not they should, we'll see later on there. In the meantime, we do divert our attention towards Paradox and Paradox and his own as they try themselves at the hands of Yasnaya. They haven't really had an easy time last time when they went George Bull. This time around, maybe it's one game for Team US. Of course, we're not going to see him in the top 10, but you got to support your boys. You got to support.
Yeah,
them.
I mean, we'd love to see them make US great again in this game. Right now, some consolation points would be lovely, but at the end of the day, they're going up against Estonia, and Estonia is holding down Yasnaya. We do have a nice drop coming in here. It's going to be a M20, my baby. That's my favorite gun. M24 with the 8X. Absolutely. And the adrenaline syringe. So that's a hot box. And it looks like James is going to head over there and wait for it. And I'll tell you who I do not want to see in a game with an M24 in his hands, and that's James.
That is a good point indeed. And he will get his hands on it nonetheless, regardless of your preference there, Toffees. And that's a powerful, powerful weapon to have. Yeah. Not only because it's such a powerful sniper, slightly more than the current AD, but also because it uses 7.62s. So where in the AWM you have a very limited number of bullets that you can fire, with the M24, you can spray or you can spam for days. Pretty much all you have to do is reload.
The other important thing to talk about with it is a more effective style of a hunting rifle than the Kar 98 is in terms of the faster bolt action. So you can fire off more shots and load it a lot faster. That's why the M24 is such a really powerful gun. And now when I say I don't want to see James with it, I mean I don't want to see James with it if I'm on the other side of the optics. As a broadcaster and a fan, I'm excited about seeing him put some work in.
Mazzarini now is going to be in a 1v1 duel here, and it looks like he's going to be going down at the hands of the one we were talking about here, James. Put in on that screws. It looks like Team Czech Republic have lost themselves an important member here. Mazzarini out, but still his two teammates are still into this one here, and they're still on the south side, looting. There's Spike and Oko, trying their best to stay into this game there, and they're still in the circle. They don't need to go where James is right now. They can find a different compound. Perhaps they can play shelter. Actually, I don't think that nobody's going to be going for, at those compounds, or so it seems at this moment in time. Look at Miguel though, running across in the open field. Can you not say that Portugal doesn't have brass, or really strong brass, man? These guys are really gutsy.
You don't get to rank 2 without big breast testicles. And that's exactly what Miguel's showing us as he charges across this field. It's not, I think I can say, I don't know what the censorship says. That said, he's pushing across here. It's a little more doable in first and thirds, obviously, because of the fact that hopefully nobody looks in your direction as they're driving the car or whatever it is. Well, you can't run across it.
Let's hang on a second. We gotta do the detective part here. We're looking for the bike. We cannot really find it. How did Haxetti die? I'm pretty sure it might be at the base of this hill. If you scroll up a little bit here, can't find how Haxetti died. That's a weird moment now.
Well, it must have been an icicle, the ultimate murder weapon. As Haxetti is taken out, and we don't know what caused it. Hopefully his team can try to come in. Sir Dre coming down saying, you want to explain what happened there, Hax? He parks uphill and just makes the run.
And it does look like he's resible. He will get there in time. They know that there's no enemy close by. Otherwise, Haxetti would have been demolished. So Sir is going to have an easy time picking him up. No problem there whatsoever. We do see some fights going on here. It does look like Kane on his own are putting on fire against Team Sweden. Nicola taking one shot there, but that's not going to be enough to bring this one down. With that UAZ, he will be going straight onto the jumping house. They're actually stopping by at the south side, and that's a smart thing to do because look at that one. US already have the jumping house at their advantage.
Yep. So US playing a little bit of a better game here as they got Heaven up to themselves. Fuzzface trying to shoot uphill at them. Nicola down, crawling around in the grass behind the defilade. Maybe looking for a bit of a flank, but Paradox in these lower houses be able to cover them from that side. So Nicola could be walking into an awful lot of trouble here as he decides he's going to take the house no matter what. Profi shows off some nice shooting skills and pushes Nicola right back down the hill.
It does look like Gaxi was involved in a car crash there. Yeah. Gaxi killed guy. Yeah, They had their own car blow up. They didn't actually kill themselves, of course. It was just it's a bug that shows into the team. They got fired upon. Lithuania losing 2 members early on. That's an important one because Galaxy is quite a powerful player here. It's not one that you want to lose on your team, but it does happen. So they have to revert to 2-man tactics right now. And talking about 2-man tactics, Team Sweden are going to have to do the same, but now they're getting pushed from behind by Hitler and one of his teammates here. And it looks like they're heading straight towards Paradox. If they would be fast enough, they could get this compound in time, but they're not. They're not deciding to go in, and Paradox comes in with that powerful AK. Those shots do connect, so he's knocked out. Nicola has to play this one carefully. There's going to be Hitler and Caden coming in from the backside there. Paradox still holding on to the same spot, but Nicola gets knocked out himself by Hitler. The AKs from the US of A being put to really good use.
Very well executed. Paradox is a player who specializes in what I like to call the first shot. He's a player who can, he likes the AK, he can tap off those first 3 very effectively and usually knock the first player to breach. After that, he can struggle a little bit in the one-on-one peak fights, but that doesn't matter. When you've got a player like Hetra on your team who can run the flanks and make those calls, they clean up very nicely, and Heaven is now controlled by the US team. Sir Dre here, going to go ahead and park his car and head into the shack close to Circle and wait for a little bit more information on where everybody is.
Yeah, it looks like Hack City is going to be joining ranks, and there again, they've lost 2 members themselves, so they're going to have to play this one quite passively. They know where the Americans are, so they're not going to go up against them. In the meantime, though, we see another goodie bag. Let's see what this one hides. We're trying to chase it down. Let's there she goes, an M249. If we have a look at the map here, and we'll see if anybody actually can grab that crate box. It doesn't look like anybody's actually quite close to it.
I think Miniman might go for it, though.
Exactly, and they would put it to good use. I mean, they've done that before. Yesterday, Team Austria have actually put that M249 to good use. Perhaps they're going to find this one today as well. We've yet to find. In the meantime, though, Encelenza with one of his teammates here at the double compound just east of prison will try to spot off some enemies, but nobody's actually spottable from this perspective.
Yep, I like what Austria is doing. They're playing the slow game, playing for the circle, taking the boat to the outside. No big deal. They're going to try to get themselves into the top 10, hopefully the top 5, and guarantee themselves to win. Meanwhile, Interrogate Moody and Jesse going to take some shots at Maluki and the boys as they drive around the outside here.
Yeah,
actually, I think
Maluki's going to be fine because
VZ's the opposite side. They want to take shots at.
Exactly. So VZ's going to have a hard time getting in there, following Maluki down, but he didn't know that actually he would lead them straight into Team Canada's aim sites. And now they're firing off at that UAZ. Don't seem to be connecting too much here. So VZ might have an easier time trying to get past them on the very edge. Oh, what happened there? VZ actually killed him. Maluki actually exited his vehicle there, and VZ comes out on top of the kill. And now he's got the support of one of his teammates as well. That's an unfortunate time. Maluki coming out to try and shoot on them. Well, that really backfired.
Maluki tried to brass that man. He parked in the way. He tried to jump out for a spray down, but he stepped too far out and the run over happened. So VZ easily kills Maluki and then drives away. It was a VZ kill. That was a VZ kill. That was VZ being VZ.
VZ peasy.
Meanwhile, back up at the kill at Alamo, not turning out to be the safest location. Outsider on the inside, ironically enough. Simsy going to get rezzed.
Yeah, Norway are not having an easy time trying to breach into this compound here. It does look like Germany have a safe stronghold to work from. And one of them actually being in the little blue shack. Simsy and Phaser now healed up, are going to be pushing it forward. They know exactly where Outsider is, but it doesn't really matter. Outsider putting on the screws. Phaser now half-life onto him. Outsider as well half-life. And, well, I don't think Outsider will be sticking around that place too much. He's expecting a nade, but it's actually not coming in. Phaser's going in for the res. And that's actually a smart play. He will have time to nade in after that one. Let's see if he decides to do so, because Outsider, well, he's just yearning to get some frags. And now he goes out. Oh, this is going to be unexpected, but Phaser does hear him, and he will get the final kill. What a hero, rezzing his own teammate 3 times now. Phaser, what a beast.
Yeah, so Phaser not only gets the kill, but gets his medic's badge. As you said, he's kept his team alive. Cole Dementa going to go ahead and pull into that grouping. They're happily inside of their complex as they'll be shooting a warehouse. Damon Lasinge going to be in a decent spot as well in the double houses. We got Power joining Prolosco and the rest of the team there just above Milta. So everybody finding their complexes. We should see some of the fights dip off just a little bit here as everybody sort of figures out where they want to go. And I'm thinking some car spray downs. Let's see. Simsy taking shots from heaven right now. That Alamo is a great spot to hold, but it can be really tough if people around you have a sniper rifle.
Yep. Hugstar leading the pack here with his motorbike. It is the faster vehicle out of all, and they do expect some contact at the compound that they just avoided. And that's a smart avoidance. Most of the time in the pro scene, you will see teams actually take the compound where Team Italy currently play from, And the other very important combat to have is taken now by the Frenchies. So VZ, Richard Bale, Icy Demon, Team Team Iceland are going to make their way safely from that one. But talking about safe, this is not a safe situation. Belgium decide to push into Czech Republic, and they seem to be coming out on top. But a res will be happening soon. However, that UAZ will be blocking off Spike and Oko from where they are right now.
They'll come out on top and they'll leave the bunker down below to them because of the fact that the UAZ block is there. But now they can't exit that way. They've got to go the long way around, and that'll buy them some time to escape. Meanwhile, Icy Demon, Richard Bale, Iceland gets shot out of their car. And it looks like Italy is going to come over and capitalize on those kills to get themselves a little more free loot.
Por supuesto. Let's see. Yeah, they're going to be getting the closers in. Italy is actually going to be very, very happy with this one because they're racking up points that they really, really badly need. Austria is still into the game here, and that's kind of a deficit to Italy because they're currently on the 3rd rank. They could beat Portugal at this one here, but I'm not too sure if Austria is out, considering how strong of a point they have, especially after the last game. They're racking up them points, and they're really doing good at that. Italy need every frag that they can get, and that's why they're going in aggressive. Let's see how it works here into this one here. Another fight happening somewhere in the middle of the circle. And it doesn't really matter.
So we'll take a little bit of a blackout here. It's a second for us to sort of collect our thoughts. We've seen some very clean play. We see Austria. We know that Austria is playing slow, and I respect the heck out of that because they want to take home the win here. On the opposite of that, teams like Italy have just been going full force. They know that they need to get a little extra rank. They're in 3rd place, but 3rd place is 109 points. Austria's at 154. So you not only have to win the game, you have to win the game with at least, 7 to 10 kills in your pocket, and hope Austria doesn't get very many at all. So we see teams like Italy being very aggressive, and that's what I like to see.
Yep, true indeed. There you go, baby. We need a tease emote in the chat. Perhaps Auzom could provide on that one. Auzom tease might be the way to go here. If not, I'll make my emote on my own channel there. But there we go. We are back into the game. We will be showing it to you in just a second. There she goes. We see the circle strangling again. We haven't actually lost too much. 57 left alive. So there you go. It's all okay. We're back into the chat. Relax. Breathe deeply. We're fine.
No, the Italy spray down was just so strong it took out our cameraman at the same time. So we're going to jump over to this fight where Interrogate's taking a lot of fire from uphill, goes to the prone heel position. Got a little deflate cover, so he should be fine there. As his team, though, not so much, getting tore up. Or is that? So Sesko in some trouble. Yuki pinned right now?
Yeah.
Can he get Sez up for you?
I don't know. The Swiss seem to have a bit of a hard time into this one here. Yeah, they will be able to get Seshko up. And, they will be going for the Chuchi to get the meds. You know what a Chuchi is? Can you say the word? I'm
going to say a wraparound? I don't know.
No, it means the plate cabinet, literally.
Interesting. I don't know how you speak so many languages. I grew up in the States. I grew up in the U.S., so
yeah, well, there you go.
We're just cocky about that kind of thing, I suppose.
That
said, though, we're not going to be much cocky after this because we've learned our lesson today watching this tournament as the North American teams. The U.S. definitely struggled. Canada doing relatively okay as they try to represent Canada for all of North America in sort of the middle of the pack right now. That said, here's a guy who's representing his team. Copy up onto the high ground, wants to take some more shots, but he decides to let Cloudtail go instead of overexposing himself. Because Cloudtail about to run into an interesting experience here. We got US driving along with Razy and his team as they go back and forth, weaving across the open ground.
Yep, and it looks like US have found themselves a combat to work with here. There doesn't look to be anybody into that one there. They might be at the edge of the current white, but it doesn't really matter because the next one will reveal itself and it might include them. So it's okay that they found a safe spot for the moment. In the meantime, though, look at Netherlands putting in some shots against Katastic, but it doesn't look like Katastic can be bothered too much about that one. Oh, yeah, he does get a lot of damage, and this car explodes as well. So Mr. TV comes in with a good frag. Again, another team that even more so need a lot of kills into this game, so they will be going quite aggressive. They have plenty of kills. Look at them, 34 kills. I think they're at the very top right now, Team Netherlands. They need not only placement, but also kills. It's a very hard game for them.
Absolutely. So Estonia loses that guy on the transition. It's a tough games. A lot of car kills so far in this match. We saw the Mad Maxing going on in the last one. We might see some in this one as well. We do see Chris and the boys still down inside of the bunker, locking it in here. They don't want to go head to head. I think Spike and his team, also down here as well as they're holding down another entrance point. So a couple of teams buried underground. I don't think I've ever seen a circle finish on shelter. So that maybe there's a first time for everything here. It'd be very interesting, but I would not envy Skyline.
No, indeed. Estonia don't seem to have it easy time. Czech Republic as well. They're being peeked in by Spain on the outside compound, but at
Mhm.
least they have the shelters to work with here. So that's a bit of a breather. Team UK as well, just on another mouthful of the shelters, and they're getting fired on, and those shots seem to be connecting kind of crazy there as well with the Mini 14. Doesn't seem to be doing too much more than just a little bit of a dink down on one of the players. So now he's going to have to group back there with his teammates. But his teammates, well, they're going quite aggressive. They're looking for they're hunting, man. They don't want
Absolutely.
to share space at all.
No, they definitely want to lock this in. They know that they need the kills to stay relevant, so they're going to go for those fights right out of the bait. UK's got to tuck
Look
in
at
and
that
be a little
bait.
bit careful here.
Look at that bait. As Sir Survivor goes on the outside, his teammates actually try to make their way in. But little do they know that they actually have the Czech Republic to go through first if they want to get through to Estonia. And the Czech Republic, Oko and Spike are on the lower end of this tunnel. So there's two ways to go around. But the UK has absolutely no idea that one of them is actually has people in close. Oh, and look at this one. Team Netherlands, very, very close to Finland.
Looks like they want to come up here. Jempty moving around. He knows where they are. He's trying to find himself a flanking position downhill. Got to be careful, keeping that lean in to keep his head down below the defilade. Missed it though. A great sprayer if he can get the advantage. Here comes Jempty up over the hill looking for one. He sees Roms. He wants to decide if he should take the shot. He doesn't know where the rest of the team is. Switches to the snipe. Goes for the head, opens up, easy knockdown to start. Jempty in a good position, but there's Broder down the hill, sees him, tries to find a good position to shoot up. Jempty falls back and waits for his team to advance. Throws out a nice little nade here. If he can hit, it'll let him take over this rock and advance the rest of his crew.
And
There's
now
the
Jempty
second.
pushing. Jempty pushing
nice.
forward actually has a chance to get Bruder down, and that he does indeed. Mr. TV won't get the res, even though Bruder's behind the dash, and Mr. decides to back out of this one. His teammate's being knocked out again. It's going to be Mr.
Shot in the
Poor
back.
guy. That gets shut in the back, and Team Finland, well, they're going to close that dirty D with a good frag on their own, and going forward with 3 members, no problem whatsoever. Another team that needs points desperately so, well, they got to do what they got to do, I suppose. In real life, I know they're friends, but, well, on the battlefield, not so much.
Friendships, it doesn't matter how friendly you are with people. Once war happens between nations, it doesn't matter. All that matters is where you're from, and that's what we're seeing here as teammates have been killing teammates all day long.
All that matters is getting your hands on those View Sonics, man. I'll tell you this right now. That's a good one. Here comes the third circle closing in so hard on so many teams. A very tight circle that the pros usually have a hard time navigating through. So we will again see a lot of action in this particular stance here. Again, we see Team Finland right now going back at them after they decimated Netherlands on the 4th place. They're doing pretty good themselves. They're looking for the frags. They're hunting for placements as well. But they really have to be careful because they have a lot of teams as they try to push forward into the next fight. Look at how many teams are in here.
A lot of teams coming into the circle, still in the middle for shelter. Should be interesting. VZ taking fire as he goes on by. He doesn't have a lot of health left. Can he survive this? Getting dinged and popped. Does make it to the back, but he'll go into a shelter that's already chock full of his enemies. Meanwhile, he made it.
Oh!
Holy cow.
But
Smoking
barely
and
so.
with 10% health or less, he walks in here and realizes, well, we can't go any farther. We got a blown out car blocking the path.
I'm not too sure what the rest of Iceland are, whether or not there are members out of Iceland, but, well, Hugstar, if he decides to go into the tunnels, well, he's going to have the Czech Republic to face, and those boys don't kid around. We see knockouts happen left and right. There's plenty of frags afoot, and Mixie steps forward as well. He's going to be finding 3 T-Butts, and that's another team eliminated. It looks like it here. Mixie's going to be stepping back, though. They do have just a small part of the white pie, and they kind of need to hold on close to them. Just to their southwest is Team Belgium.
Finland putting in some serious work. Meanwhile, we got Coldamente Choi inside of a good complex north of the shelter. I got to be honest, though, if this circle doesn't favor shelter, we're going to see a very interesting game develop as everyone has to exit it, and there's only 3 exits left. Miguel and Interrogate. Miguel trying to get there.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Miguel, the last member from Team Portugal, and they've got eliminated quite early on. This might be a good, actually, a very good moment for Italy to step in hard, or for Finland to step in hard. Finland's still into this game, of course, and Italy as well, with the many frags that they've got early on when they had people actually crossing by these compounds where the Frenchies currently are. Now, we see the Americans trying to go for a north side wrap around there. They might work it fine, though. Actually, it seems to be this. Sorry, not did I say Americans?
You did.
Well, it's my bad. Of course, it will be Team Austria heading in for a wraparound from the northern end. They might find a bit of an easy time, but they are heading straight into America, so they have to be careful there. Now, Team Belgium trying to make themselves into the shelters. Might just find some contact here soon.
Yeah, and they're going in through a way that is open. They're going to run possibly right into the trap that is set up for them. Chris just waiting for their chance to get a spray down if they come down here. They've still got the circle. This is something that they've been hoping that this works out, and so far, they haven't got anything yet out of it.
Not really. And they're parking their cars.
Holy cow,
They could actually, yeah, they could actually block the people that are inside the shelters, and they kind of know that there might be people in there. The next white shows up, and it's not one that contains Argy and his Belgian teammates. So they're gonna have to be quite patient with the white. They're gonna have to push in late, maybe use their cars as cover, because where they're going, there's not a lot of compounds. There are some trees left, some terrain that can provide them cover, but it's not an easy task at that. Now, Mixie putting in good shots. There goes power from Team Italy, and that's an important frag for Finland, and they should know it at this point that they've got a decent chance to win this, or at least place themselves in the top 3.
Belgium runs into trouble as they come down. Actually, they're holding up as they see the teams pushing out that was camping them. Nice nades back and forth. Might be bad. Oh. Down he goes. Spike trying to make something happen here as he peeks up over top. Belgium can always pull themselves out of this if they want to. Goes in and loots his partner. So I need some supplies, my friend. So I try to get out of the shelter. I've never seen a shelter finish. The circle's not going to favor it, most likely in the last one. So the shelter teams do have to start making their way out ASAP. The question is, will Belgium just put a car there into the hole and leave?
Yep, indeed it will be. Indeed, not an easy time for Spike, and I don't even know if he can make his way on the outside, on the other side, because he's got other teams waiting for him. Belgium is on the other side, so Belgium is already blocking in the shelters, trying to make sure that actually nobody comes through, and that's a perfect block. They're just waiting to decimate, to destroy that car, and that's going to be the end of it. Now, circle strangling again. Only one compound contained, two compounds contained in this little white, and we already see Foster Copy trying to make a bit of a real estate on his side, but Longo's got to be on the other end.
Absolutely. So Foster Copy trying to push in here from Denmark. Wants to try and take it. We saw him playing a little bit earlier on his own. Nades everywhere, though. Doesn't want to stay out here very long. He's in 14th place and needs the kills, so it's kind of just being spoiler at this point. Long 16 takes a few shots, but ducks back in. Really, all he's doing is harassing them. Meanwhile, jump over to Jempty, who's taking some shots at Raptor. Trying to finish the job. Raptor goes down. Air trying to help out. THZ looking like he wants to go for a possible res. Can't do it. Makes the transfer to the outside. And Silenzo sees him moving.
This might be the pivotal element here. The one pawn that makes it happen here in Silenzo. If he would throw a nade into Arky's position, he might really make it happen. But Texas as well, in a very unfortunate place. It will make Jempty actually push out of position, and he's getting actually dinked down by THZ. So Jempty has to be really careful about Texas pushing in from uphill.
Absolutely, Jempty in a very tough spot. We see a lot of teams coming together here right now. VZ still down inside of the pits. A lot of teams still down there actually trying to figure out how to get out of this one. Razy and VZ up against Chris. Chris had to go out in a different exit, remember? And now they're up against Hugostar. There's the spray. Cloudtail taking some damage. Goes for the peek. Gets one. Chris lining up the shot with that grenade.
Yep.
Bounce the corner. VZ.
Oh, damn. Now that's one for the books. That nade's going to be coming in here, and it looks like Team Estonia are not going to have an easy time at that. But at the same time, it looks like Iceland are having to really lick their wounds at this moment in time here, so they actually choose to back off, and that's the smart play to do. Yep. It will allow them to get the res and a bit of a heal as well. Their enemies are not going to be pushing into them. They don't want to find certain death. So for the moment, both of these teams are okay, but they will have to face each other off.
Well, the circle still continues to favor the shelter. I've never seen anything like this. It's very interesting. Almost every entrance has a car parked in it and blocking in some capacity. So it's going to be interesting to see the top teams going to the bottom teams trying to come out to the top based on the next circle as it plays out. We've got, what, 2 or 3 teams in the shelter itself. That's pretty cool, actually.
That is a beautiful shot. Skyline, ladies and gents, best observer in the whole of NA. Thank you, Skyline, for making this one happen. Really, really good stuff. Hit him up on Twitter, Skyline_OW for Overwatch. I don't know what that is, but maybe it's another game.
Because he's so good at overwatching the match for us.
There you go. Maybe it's a different game. I'm not too sure about it. But yeah, let's see what Miniman can do here. Team Austria really looking forward to solidify their position, but they're now going to be facing enemies. Oh, and they're not having an easy time at it. And they're on the outside as well. Rip GG.
Grubsy on the inside, trying to keep himself up there as he sees the circle. Going for a little bit of a backstab. Wow, look at all these dudes. We got US is on the outside too.
He's going with the heels. That's the only thing that he can do. And yeah, as US tries to push in, they're actually going to be peaking themselves because they're going straight into the open. I'm not too sure if the US are going to be alive for too long here, one after another. They're knocked out like flies, and Paradox is the only one that remains, and all he can do right now is hope that he can heal. Hope that he can get a bit of a better placement. There's nothing else to do. He dies. That's done for Team US. But look at UK still into this one, and they seem to be coming up close to Estonia.
It is in the shelter. This is amazing.
Oh, this is
Joy's
sick.
gonna push up that right. I've been waiting for this for what 4 months now. Survivor reels T-Bone in such a good position. The UK have their area unlocked. They're inside the circles. They feel pretty good about that as they rotate around, moving as twos. I like that system. So this is, you do a 2-person corner breach. You don't put everyone at risk because you don't want to be overlapping your fire too much as they move around in some really cool pairs. Meanwhile, Cloudtail and their team going to be locking out. Damon going to be up on top. So it should be interesting to see which teams end up on the top and the bottom. And we may actually just see a heel race if it ends up locking in a sort of a 2-tier finish.
Yeah, and I like the positioning out of Team UK and also Team Estonia. They seem to have really, really good positioning. But Troy eats up a big chunk of damage there. He's not going to be quite happy with that. His helmet popped off as well.
Lost his helmet.
Yep, blasted off. And he's got an M24. Okay, fair enough. It is indeed suppressed, but it doesn't really matter at this point in time. It looks like the Frenchy boys have him under really, really hard fire. So he's going to go for the heals. He's fully boosted in. He goes in for an extra painkiller just for the lows because there's 10 seconds left and he's going to have to make his way in. But Damien already says, oh, putain, he's going to block him off. That's
he
it.
says just to move a little bit. Gatekeeper now is Monkey as he's going to play this Pete game with Choi. Choi trying to go back and forth with the Jiggle Pete. Gets caught twice from the opposite side. Choi going to start to take the ticks and he'll go down.
Yep, that's going to be it for Team Spain. And as we move forward, we do see the French guys have a bit of a chance here. But UK, in return, they're going to be gatekeeping. No, actually, they're going to be knocking out Chris and Razy. Estonia are knocked out, almost out of the game here. Damien's still alive there for France. But UK seems to have an idea to push into him, and down he goes. Just one more left. Monkey is in the battle for France as it stands. And I'm not too sure if he's going to be alive for too long. UK stepping up at the end of the game here, calling themselves heroes as the game is so close to ending. And look at UK's position, man. He must be sweating bullets.
That's all they can do. UK up on top. They got a T-Bone, got a nice double spray down. And now what they'll do is they'll leave Survivor up on top. They'll run T-Bone on a flank around the outside. And they'll verify, is anyone out here before we have to deal with somebody potentially coming from below? They know it's all locked up down there. This is a very easy 4v1. All UK can do is sort of wait to see what happens.
Yep, indeed. The UK just hunting for frags left and right. And it looks like the Hochachashli player won't have an easy time here. Yuki's going to be peeked in fake. He's going to be finding him in just any second now. There he goes. And that will be the GG and the chicken dinner for the team that comes, well, rather that goes out of the Europe. But before they do that, they come in beautifully so for the final matchup here. UK, what an amazing game. Keeping a full squad and closing this one down like it was nobody's business.
Absolutely. Well executed, the UK. Not as many kills as they would have liked to try and see themselves rise a little bit higher. That said, the first place, always wonderful to get. Odie, Yuki, Cisco guys, they come out with number 2. I'm trying to figure out where did Austria end up on the final count here. It looks like they were in 7th place. So that's going to actually put them in a pretty good spot to potentially continue to hold that top position. They were ahead by so gosh darn much. I'm curious to see if that is enough. They only got 1 kill, but they did slow play their way into 7. So that was pretty interesting. Guys, that's pretty much it for us on the cast. What do you got to say before we do our sign out here?
The only swap around that could be possible at this moment in time, considering the points, would be Portugal to step down and Finland to step up, or Switzerland actually to step up, because Switzerland ended 2nd. So we might see actually Switzerland take Portugal's place and Finland come up on the 3rd spot there, as Italy got knocked out of the game early enough there. We'll see what goes down, but we definitely have a really solid panel of analysts right there, don't we?
And before we go to them, guys, just remember a big shout out from me, Toffees, and Boogie here. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on the play-by-play. That said, we will be back after the desk to fill you in a little bit on the details for Auzom Season 2 and what the plan is for that if you're curious. So stick around after the desk. But the desk going to wait and take you through the final numbers. So we're going to toss it over to those guys, the men with the plan. We're going to tell you all about what we just saw. That's Mustache Dave and Porosaurus. Talk to me about the game.
Well, we are back with the analyst desk. I am Porosaurus, and with me is Mustache Dave. Mustache Dave, UK coming in hot with that win in the final circle at this wild finish at the shelter. Have you ever seen that many teams in the shelter?
I mean, it was just a multi-layer ending that was just phenomenal. And as the casters mentioned, Skyline getting the multi-layer views, very interesting, very interesting. Honestly, I was sweating bullets because I was worried about those squads that invested so much time and effort into actually going to those tunnels. And I was just sweating bullets because I thought they would have to push out and, eventually die or become trapped in there.
Well, look, at one point I was counting. I saw Belgium, Estonia, Czech Republic was in here, UK,
Yeah.
Sweden, all of these teams all right on top of each other, all shooting back and forth in between the nooks and crannies of that shelter. UK coming out on top by taking the entrance that happened to be in the circle and holding that as well as they possibly could. And it's just great work by
Yeah.
them keeping track of their surroundings and making sure that nobody was able to come up from out of the shelter or come up from the sides, and just committing to every fight that they took, and just great communication all the way around for them.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Estonia invested as much time and effort as they possibly could into those trenches within those zones, and it placed them third place. So that pretty decent payoff in my opinion. And then we had Yuki securing his squad the second place for Switzerland, and like you said, first place United Kingdom, fourth place France, and Austria getting seventh place there with only one kill. So these leaderboards going to be extremely close, extremely tight. Right now, our mods are counting up the scores, counting the kills, making sure all their maths are right. 1+1, all that good stuff. But what do you want to talk about this last game? I mean, it really came down to this. I'm really nervous to see this final scoreboard.
Well, I gotta say, I think that Austria, was secure in that first place. They knew what they had to do. They had to slow play it, just survive, make it to top 10, and most likely will get that win. And I think they did exactly what they needed to do. They played it just how they needed to. They didn't take any unnecessary risks, and they ended up making it to the seventh place. And I think that's going to bring home the win for them.
I mean, we're gonna find out, but which is what a mosh pit over there in those tunnels. What a bloodbath! So much action. Toppy's mentioned also one other thing that if these squads say they had to push out of those tunnels, let's just block them in. Let's just block them in with a vehicle, blow it up. They're stuck. They're like rats in a cage that are just stuck. I'm glad it didn't come to that really, but. Let's talk about some other things. What else stuck out to you? I mean, besides all the placements, besides the points, besides the shelter, being such a major factor in this final game. Any other major plays that kind of? I mean, we saw Italy. They got taken out pretty early. That's our number 3 squad right now. So what else?
Yeah, I gotta say this is one of another game where we just kind of saw a low kill count. We didn't see any one team get that just dominant position and be able to rack up the kills by just controlling the area around them. I think that just had a lot to do with where the circle fell and how they were playing hills, and everybody. It seemed like a lot of people were kind of on foot, just kind of slowly making their way in, and it was just kind of interesting to see how we started off just so wild and so fragging out and just taking out anybody who came anywhere near us. And then this third and fourth game, it's just been kind of more all about positioning. And what position can you take? Can you defend that position? And we finally saw the U.S. finally was able to get it together. They came in with a 6th place finish, but they did that because they were holding these positions. They found that warehouse just to the north of shelter, held that down, and prevented anybody from coming up on them. And then at the end, I was actually kind of interested because they at the end, when they were forced to move out of that position, they managed to take out our first place team in Austria. And I was kind of interested to see if there was anybody else still alive from Portugal or Italy at the time, to see if that might have actually helped them out. But I don't believe there was. So we're still counting up points.
Yeah.
We're still going to see where everybody finishes up. But
okay, I got a question. I got a question for you.
absolutely.
Got a question for you.
Hit me.
All right. While the scores are being tallied up, let's reflect upon the 4 games we had today. I want to know Poor Source's favorite play, favorite moment. I'm just gonna throw my favorite moment out there first. My favorite moment that we were able to, I think I know what yours is, but that we were able to capture Coldemente stuck in the Matrix, stuck in Inception when he was jumping off of that ledge multiple times. I like that a lot. I would put that on my highlight reel, even though you're not really doing much. It was funny. It's funny.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. It's like one of those. What's that Tom Cruise movie where he constantly
Mission
dies?
Impossible.
No, not Mission Impossible. It was a sci-fi one. He's always
He's in other
dying, right?
movies. I thought he's only in Mission Impossible 1 through 10.
It could be. It could be. Maybe it was Mission Impossible 8. I'm not sure. 'Cause, I know he was in one movie where he just constantly kept dying over and over again, and I think that might have been Cold Demento right there, and
Yeah,
kind of a Groundhog Day situation. But for me, my favorite play, easy,
easy.
Texas, driving straight into those yellows to the north of the lake in Game 3 and taking out Team Denmark, member of Team Denmark. Just the hyper aggressive play. This compound is going to be ours. Don't care what you say. Don't care what you do. Don't care if your entire team is there or not. I'm running right into you, hopping out of this car, and just starting to spray. That was probably the most uh Michael Bay movie moment that I've seen in this game in a while. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was pretty solid. And as far as consistency goes, I want to say Austria definitely up there. Well, they are. We have the stats, not including the newer ones that we're waiting on, but they placed 28.57% of the time they win the round. So they're the highest squad to be consistent, just showing that their communication, their synergy is just right on point. And, they know how to read these circles. Like you said a couple of games ago, not just the next circle, but 3 circles ahead of time. I mean, just being able to kind of predict, use your skills, and, of course, your fragging abilities. It just pays off.
Absolutely. Just making that, having the teamwork to commit to these decisions, no second guessing, no kind of sissy footing around and like, well, maybe we should go there. Maybe we should go. No,
Mhm.
screw that. We're going there and you're going to love it and we're going to win and it's going to be great. And speaking of which, let's talk
Yeah.
about Team Denmark. I mean,
Okay.
obviously going into this final game, sitting in 14th, but they're blowing away everybody with these kills. Energetic Turtle was sitting on 10 kills going into this game. Larson sitting on 12. I mean, they're fragging out and doing it at a pretty consistent pace. It's a shame that it wasn't able to translate into any
Placements,
high
yeah.
finishes or wins for them. But you still have to respect the effort coming out of these guys with their fragging.
Yeah, I mean, you could just put them down in the books, right? Most consistent fragging squad. I mean, before we get our next update, they're sitting at 39 total kill counts per the squad, and coming in second is Sweden with 35. So, and Sweden with that 19 kill game 2, that was also amazing. But the scoreboard is
Oh,
up.
goodness.
Poro, let's go. Let's see what happened.
Oh my goodness. So, okay. So, as I said, Austria did manage to hold on to that first place finish with that extremely consistent play that they were able to come out with. Meter, Minimint, G-Thang, Grubsy, all phenomenal players. Grubsy coming in with the most kills for his team, averaging, the only team that got 2 wins this entire time. Average round placement of 6. I mean, that is 6 top 10s across the board. But the big surprises coming in second and third place. In second place,
Wow.
the United
What?
Kingdom, that last win brought them all the way up to second place. Let's see.
And Switzerland in
yeah, that was
third. They also got bumped
Switzerland in
because
third.
yeah, it was Portugal and Italy. So definitely major shifts within the leaderboards. Just to go to show how one game could be so important when it comes to these leaderboards.
Absolutely. Well, and UK slowly just kind of sticking around, 5 top 10s, right? The average round placement of 8th. They very consistent with kills across the board. Everybody kind of contributed the roughly the same amount and just very, very good teamwork. And they just hung around long enough to where if they won that final game, they were going to get that bump that they really needed. And they just managed to pull it off. And it was by incredible team play and just a great job of holding the top of that shelter area and then finally just committing to fights that they took. So great work by them coming in second. And then Switzerland, Yuki, Sezco, Odi Panda, Musketeer. Look at Yuki was the last. I think he managed
the
to get
last
second
remaining
place
member.
for Switzerland just by surviving. So it's kind of one of these things where you get to see both sides of PUBG, right? You
Mhm.
can win by getting a ton of kills and just dominating in that fashion, or you can also get highly placed, get wins by just being able to survive, make it to the end. And Yuki really doing that for his squad, bringing home the third place finish for Switzerland.
Well, I just want to say, what a phenomenal day. So much action, so many different strategies coming out from these top players, so much action, all the frags. And I just want to thank the viewers for sticking around, watching the Nations Cup. I mean, I was pumped. Poro, you were pumped.
I was pumped.
You pumped, dude. We're still pumped. I'm about to go run a lap. I'm just excited because so much action. But we're going to have our boys over here, Boogie and Toffees, like they said, come explain the next season for Auzom. But Poro, anything else you want to say before we exit the Sauce Boss desk? I mean, what's anything else, man? The sauce,
the sauce was 100%, 100% well, we definitely want to thank all of our sponsors today. ViewSonic for providing us with these amazing prizes for our winners, and as well as the keycaps that we're going to be coming in from. I'm sorry, I don't have the
keycaps.
Yeah,
they're awesome. That's all you need to know. They're awesome.
Dave is on a mission right now, boys. Dave is on a mission to get the keycap.
I want the keycaps.
I just want to say this to convey this message to the winners right now. Keep your keycaps safe. You might end up with a ghillie suited up Dave. He might sneak into your home and try and steal those ones away from you.
Yeah, I'm looking for keycaps.
He has been known to dress in ghillie suits, not to thieve.
And the last thing you want is Dave sneaking into your room and leaving sauce behind. So
sauce, yeah, that's my MO. I put sauce everywhere. I take the keycaps in the ghillie suit. GG, boys. That's how we do it in the NA. All right.
We just provide sauce for you, and then to steal your keycaps.
Well,
that's a trade, right?
You know, this may be the strangest throw that I've ever been a part of, but I love it. As we again, shout out to Keycaps and ViewSonic for giving us the prizes for these players. Porosaurus and Mustache Dave kicking butt and taking names on the desk. Great job, guys. We do want to give you a little bit of information though before we leave today. You just watched something amazing. All right, we saw